1.7. Falsification as a working principle. In this section I introduce the idea of falsification as a working principle, which was introduced by Sir Karl Raimund Popper. He argued that scientific theories cannot be confirmed by observations but must be disproved by looking for contradictions. This section includes examples from everyday life of how the idea of falsification can be illustrated, for example the claim that all swans are white. If a black swan were discovered, this theory would be disproved and found to be false. Popper considers falsification to be more certain than the assumption that theories can be confirmed by observations. So, we can never prove anything. Sir Karl Raimund Popper is the focus of this lesson. With his work, he made significant contributions to the philosophy of knowledge and science and criticized a common understanding of science according to which generalized conclusions for scientific theories are drawn from concrete observations. Let's take as an example the everyday realization, or better, everyday idea that we humans are by nature dependent on animal food. This is how we have mostly grown up, programmed with slogans such as, "Meat is a piece of vitality," and "Milk makes weary men lively." This results in the unshakable belief among many contemporaries that it is not possible to live without animal food because otherwise one will quickly become ill and die prematurely. Even most doctors and nutritionists still cling to this idea of a necessary diet with animal components. They all once had their scientific training and were shaped there with the scientific knowledge of the time, which described the so-called mixed diet as healthy and necessary. The mantra of the healthy mixed diet thus continues to live on scientific results, even if today's state of knowledge makes this thinking seem outdated in the meantime. Whereas we had just learned from Paul Watzlawick that many findings become outdated after some time due to new findings and investigations, we now learn from Karl Popper another critical view on how to deal with scientifically founded theories. Decades ago, he fundamentally rejected all theories obtained inductively, from observations, as uncertain speculations and demanded that they be refuted by searching for contradictory observations. Examples from everyday life. The example of the assertion that all swans are white is a good illustration of this. Such an assertion can only hold until the first black swan is sighted. And when the first black swan verifiably appeared, the previous theory of always white swans was of course immediately falsified, thus recognized as false and discarded. Let us return to our example chosen above, the assertion that humans always need animal food. This claim, referred to as knowledge, is already being refuted in more than 1 million cases every day in Germany, because 1.58 million people in Germany were already living vegan, so without food of animal origin or components, in 2022, see Pollack 2022. The theory of the necessity of a diet with animal components, underpinned with a lot of funding and research money, has therefore long since been falsified by everyday life that can be observed by everyone. This does not mean, however, that the majority of people in Germany would immediately reject such a disproven theory as that of the necessity of animal food components. On the contrary, we experience in many areas of our everyday life that earlier theories are obviously not true, in economics, ecology, politics, health. Nevertheless, many people hold on, sometimes very stubbornly, to ideas and theories that have long been outdated and disproved. From Sir Karl Raimund Popper we therefore take with us a fundamentally critical attitude. Always check what is claimed, and even be inspired to look for anything that might contradict this claim. Simply so that mere assertions, which may be based on observations, do not become supposedly valid theories, which no one may then contradict. For this reason alone, critical reflection is necessary so that false truths do not persist, with the reference to their earlier still possible but provisional confirmation. Verification is not possible. In addition, Popper points out that nothing can be verified, that is, declared true forever and ever. For we cannot, in principle, exclude any situation for now or for the future that contradicts the theory previously established. So, we can and should falsify, but we cannot and should not want to verify. As long as we have not, yet, succeeded in falsifying an assertion or even a theory, it is by no means considered verified, according to Popper, but always only provisionally confirmed. The result, verified, can therefore never exist. The assumption that our diet requires animal components in order to remain healthy has, to use Sir Popper's words, no longer been provisionally confirmed for decades, but has long since been refuted, falsified. It is therefore false. Such claims are no longer correct according to today's knowledge. Why is this important to us? Because since Popper, it has been one of the self-evident tasks of every scientist not to continue to use assertions and theories that have been refuted once, and once is really enough, but to reject them. To detect these refutations and to take them into account is one of the principles of our scientific work. Following Watzlawick, Popper should now have made it clear once again how important a consistent practice of scientific work is for ourselves. It protects us from believing generalities to be true and correct, and it motivates us to look for investigations that have verified assertions with the aim of falsification. It saves us from creating unworkable solutions with invalid theories. Reading tip, Popper 1966a. You may have just shaken your head. We are not supposed to compile something provably, as is still and often done, even at universities, but to analyze everything with the ambition of falsifying it, thus declaring it invalid. Tough stuff. But if you engage with Popper's thought, it may also be plausible. Even if something is considered confirmed at the moment, in the course of the day someone might have found a way to falsify, to disprove, what is accepted as confirmed, and thus usually considered true and correct. It might even awaken your sporting spirit if you adopt this attitude. I no longer want to assert something, as in essays or some papers, but to question something critically, preferably with the chance of refuting it.